Okay, enough maneuvering around with the costume sets.
Well, we don't have anybody on yet, so we have Donna though. Hi, Donna. Donna understands. Hey, you guys. Well, you guys, it's just Donna. It says nobody's on, but Donna's on. So I don't know.
All right, so
Anyway, yeah, we have to wait a little bit for our audience. Oh, although it could be that I put on no comments. I don't know. Tell
no,
me.
you're getting
But
more.
yeah,
You're
well,
getting more. It's just gonna
that's
take a
fine.
minute. Let's just start asking me a question.
All right.
What's the most interesting topic?
So right now, I am personally obsessed with, is AI something that we have to be really worried about, or like what's the tipping point? And it seems like, what was it, 35 weeks ago, Chat GPT came online, and now all of a sudden it's like killing kids. Um, what do you think about AI? Go.
Well, the chat part, if that's more in the communication line, an algorithm-based take, it needs to
Like
have a
people thinking it's
protection.
friends, you
Yeah,
know?
it has to have a protection protocol upon it. I mean, anybody can access a phone, even a child. But it takes a momentum for that to have a better protection with it and security. It's easy to access security, but it can be bypassed. So, is there a potential way, because of the accelerated amount of AI being displaced upon the lands, there could potentially be QXAI? What QXAI could be in a quantum algorithm between hyperpotential allies that discern through the properties of SpaceX, and as well as a Starlink. Betanet streams could potentially, and as well as distribute a disruptive field against any terms that could cause a problem. This is being worked on through a higher evaluational term, but it's something that's already being determined now, right now, too, as well. Yes, we were concerned about the way that humans are seeing things and deciphering things through something that's not even physically in front of them.
Right.
Pay attention to what you're doing online. Pay attention to who it is you are talking to, because sometimes it's not really that, and it can very well be a bot.
Okay, so that is another thing, is that they're talking about AI being sentient, but I think what it really is whoever's behind the AI is causing it to behave in that way. Am I right? Or is it really AI going to get to the point where it's going to decide that we humans just aren't worth the trouble and, off us?
Well, it's got to become an equilibrium the way through hyper advanced technologies are being biased and moved forward for. If an equilibrium isn't placed, then AI could potentially take over and disrupt the field altogether. There have been advanced civilizations in the past, especially through Tartarian, through monuments, buildings, substructures, and ecological structures that evaluated certain terms and determined where AI went. Some of them, even today, are still there and categorized that way. But for humans, they are not ready yet to just jump forward into something they do not know. They have to take steps. Like, consider Star Trek, consider Star Wars, consider other space movies, if you will, that already have technological advancements inundated with AI and deployed with a protective stream, as well as a regenerative biofield, and hyper advanced cognitive outlet streams through the Psyche Awareness Code.
Okay, so what is the biggest? Okay, I don't want to do something where we all get afraid of things, because I don't think that's helpful. Clearly, AI is our future, right? But there's no getting away from it. It's something that is happening. What can we do in order to, like you said, have an equilibrium with AI?
Military, for one thing. deploying technological achievements in the field, and utilizing those advancements for the betterment of mankind and the planet you're in, and not utilizing it for something that's going to really cause a major problem and malfunction. That's one issue with AI.
Yeah, the malfunctioning is a real issue because it's like AI already has something like 30% hallucinations, meaning they get it wrong.
no.
30%, no?
Oh, I'm saying malfunctioning and deterrence causeways of certain fields, like the military. You have to make sure you're projected deploying certain technologies on the field that are not going to overreact, are not going to cause a conjuncture of problems. Number two, the health field. Technological achievements through AI and utilizing robotics in healthcare systems to a quantum advancement has to be on an equalization term. Quantum medical beds will have AI deployed within it, but it has to have an AI system-based stream that is on a better term, as well as robotics. Robotics do not and will not submit to their own actions against what the owners have projected. So they have to make sure that whatever they have, that if the potential robotic systems causes an influxation of a problem, it's automatically shut down because they have a withdrawal scene. So it's not impossible to have all of these systems through AI put out there, but it is possible to make it the right way. We also need to understand the equal terms in the society, within the society of mankind, of the lands itself. What you're eating, what you do with the animals, how they're treated, what their functionality codes between them and humankind, the lands, the trees, the wildlife, the oceans, the waters. And even us in Space Force, we're already working on, through the commandership of me and John F. Kennedy Jr., to articulate an aqua oscillator device that will help redetermine the negative alloy structures of elements in certain reservoirs, aqueduct systems, sinks, pools, if you will. That's going to take time, but it's already something behind the scenes that's moving forward.
Wow.
But it's not just us. It is determined to other elites too. Other people in the program that could step up and make action happen. Donald Trump did not categorize and motivate the golden age just to say it. Just to say, oh, it's going to come out there, and it doesn't happen. He's saying it for a reason. It's coming out there. It's going to happen. But what is it really? It's something, an advancement for mankind. So it articulates the subsystems of the star seeds. It motivates the higher dimensions of AI, and as well as recreates the certain ally structures of new laws, and deters the effects of anything that could cause and catalyze a problem across the entire realm. We know that he may take and may have already taken steps that people do not like. Okay, everyone's not going to like a certain leader in some way, or a certain other entity. It's just the way humans are. They can't project an equilibrium, right? So if we can go past him and go to those in the office, and go to those in the White House and the Pentagon, and even scatter abroad to the other elites across the planet, and actually join together and maintain better order, then potentially we could heal what was lost across this planet. But one thing, we cannot over-direct the way the fields are here. What I'm saying is, you put more and more buildings, you put more and more away from the land, humans will not have a dynamic scene to move forward for themselves. They'll end up having to turn into something else because everything gets all flipped over. If you understand my drift here.
Everything already seems like it's been flipped over, Blue. I mean, we're basically at this point where good is evil and evil is good. And I'm thinking that that might be by design, in order to get us to fight with each other. And really, we have a lot bigger problems than each other. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna put something into perspective here. Think about Johnny Appleseed, or you're planting a tree, or you take something out, put it back. A lot of humankind just rips and tears everything out, and they don't put back. Maybe you need to consider an ecological advancement through certain biodomes in certain areas that will create better substantial wildlife again, instead of ripping it away one by one. And it includes where you live at. Where are the birds going to go? Where are the animals going to go if everything's taken away from them? Remember, it's their domain too. It's where they belong as well. You have to find an equalization with it between moving AI forward, moving things forward as a human species, and tearing away. Tear away, put back, as far as we are concerned.
So, Blue, I have a question. Have you ever heard of something called the Wood Wide Web? Do you know what that is, the Wood Wide Web?
The what?
The Wood Wide Web. It's something scientists have just started to call this interconnected force of plants, where their roots and everything and the bacteria on them and everything is communicating with each other. All of the plants are talking. So does this make sense? Is this something that you know about? It's new, and they actually have used AI to discover it. So it makes me wonder if it's real, but they say that the plants use like a kind of a clicking sound. But the fact being is that the plants are communicating with each other all the time, and that they feel pain, and that they have rivalries, and there's just like this whole world going on. And so when Blue talks about the plants, I think that makes a lot of sense, because they are alive and they are living in their own kind of a world, right?
Well, if we want to get deeper down to the perceptions of things, think about the net, N-E-T. So the net is neural higher functionality terms that coordinate through the authorical data streams around humankind and other individuals alike. But it also augments into the terrestrial formational screening layers of different types of elemental strands that bypass through the dimensions itself. So what I'm saying is there is an intuitive point, because this world, if the humans perceive it that way, is connected to the hollow lands, and it's connected to the paradimensions. And anything that has living, breathing, or habitual status code of life within its reservational speed connects to that. But get this, even objects and their terms, or causeways of their terms, is some type of element within it. That's just a connectivity speed. The plants are different, the animals are different, because they're more intuitive to life preservation terms. And they conjoin between each other. Animals eat plants, or the plants or help create other elements in the air distributional codes. They create the functionality terms for life itself,
right?
And the lands and the water. So they're connected to the dynamics of the net when it comes to the more natural terms and the ecological terms that go straight into the hollow lands. The hollow lands is disconnected currently from here, and it always has been, because it's healthy, because of the way it's healthy. Because it doesn't have any pollutants there. It has advanced ecological societies that are growing through humanoids, extraterrestrials, as well as some military zones, facilitated scientific equations, laboratories, you name it, even underground. There is a facilitated network stream too that bypasses the nets of the hollow land, and that goes right directly into this field. The reason why this field is so corrupted is because humans are not directed like advanced humanoid societies or other terrestrials. They're withdrawn from that because there have been timelines of categories where they were boxed in. And because of that, their neural thought form processors were stuck on one scene of event.
So I see a lot of people don't know who you are, Blue, since they are new to this program, but for the past couple of years, Blue has been my resident alien. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself so they know who's talking to them and why.
Unified Federation President, Intergalactic, quantum twin of Donald Trump, also perceivable as a hybrid, Zeta Reticuli Gray, reptilian race, main factional form to motivate and maintain better order for a new age. John F. Kennedy Jr., redirectory seen to the hybrid program, has maintained as well several types of layers that are incubated through a starseed. Also, I am a commander in the Intergalactic Space Force Department, and as well as an architect that motivates and works through other departments through advanced technologies.
So one thing that I wanted to talk to you about too is the med beds. And lately they've been coming out with the med bed scams because of course humans hear something and they have to make something out of it and then it's a scam. So tell us, what's the truth about med beds?
Well, as an architect myself, creating a dynamic view for one, Donald Trump as well as others behind the scenes have maintained it. Code of ethics looking behind the scenes as well through movies and evaluated timeline interventions, will find out that medbeds have been around for a long time. But there's a reason for that. They want to create and control humankind. So they made and manufactured a certain maneuver for it and a certain diagnosis. Pharmaceuticals or human pharma doctors, all that stuff wasn't always around like it is now.
True. Good point.
There were cutoff points. And potentially those cutoff points, even through the ancient Agarthan realms, Egypt, Atlantis, as well as some areas in Antarctica, some basis points, I believe, about Mount Shasta in California, as well as interweaving events through the USA sector, have catalyzed throughout the times similar projects like the quantum medical beds, as well as accelerated data or beta streams that deter the molecular structure that is being boxed in and recalibrate the regenerative molecular events that go through the skin itself and the body. So you're being able to have a lower field of regenerative processing, and as well as regenerative neural processing when it comes to NTech genetic scenes.
What can humans do to make the world a better place right now?
Lowering the way they perceive things within each other on a negative event. We do not need a nuclear war. That is one of the main problems right now, is these potential hazards of war coming. And the ones that are already here. Yeah, there may be lower fields and humans may perceive, okay, it's something that we need, so we could coordinate peace. But how about taking that at a direct stop? Cut that off. Create some type of document with each other that will coordinate a better law between the sectors and obligate something between each other that will be beneficial. Instead of warring with each other, find out what one needs the most and what the other one potentially has that the other one could do to help with that one, and that one back. And then they have some type of document that can no longer fight. Because humans need to understand, as a species as a whole, you are human. You are who you are. Just because you have different color variations. And it was only determined just the way to see how humans would be cut off to certain points. And it's happened many times over. Joining points, dissecting, joining, dissecting. Sometimes it didn't work out and it screwed everything up for the entire planet. This determines the cause of, okay, dissecting certain reasons, but now bringing in sovereign nations, bringing in something that will help each other as a whole. Because in order for humans to grow, in order for them to become multiplanetary, they have to learn to become one with each other and understand good and evil, what it really means. And if you're going to go one way, and especially if it's the bad way, you may need to take a reconsideration for your actions. Because there are beings, even like us, there are ecological movements, laws, there are motivators behind the scenes that want to make betterment for mankind and the whole planet. But if certain individuals coordinate problems, certain organizations, and they keep that, how can we do that? How can we help?
You know, something that you just said is like a key, I believe. Certain organizations. I think when it comes to AI, one of our biggest threats is that it will be used by certain organizations in order to control us. How big is that how big of a threat is that to all humans when you have a very, small bunch of people, if indeed they are people, controlling things at the top, and maybe thinking that life would be better without all of us pesky humans. Am I right?
Humans are supposed to be protected under the Intergalactic Council because their genetics are unique. Their properties are unique. Their values are
Yes,
unique.
Thank you.
Humans have not always lived on this planet. I want you to go and look online about paintings on walls, about astronaut theory or whatever. And then they have like what humans look like they're astronauts, but it's a long time ago, and it's depicted in these paintings and murals and stuff. All right, humans have other systems that they live on throughout the timelines. This one currently is more or less played as a motivational code where it's going to go next. And it deters once in a while, and it skips over several times. It starts over several times. But humans can have a programmable speed of 1,000 years of a golden age is something that's going to motivate them and advance them to a point.
Well, so history is always repeating itself. And I'm hearing that we humans need to learn from the history that always repeats itself. But how can we learn when it seems like we're lied to all the time about what that history was?
Because humans are stuck in their own box scenario by the higher elites. And I'm going to go back to a couple people, what they're saying.
Sure, go ahead.
One of them, an imperfect system has more unexpected moves than a perfect system. It's, maybe better. I'm not asking for a perfected system. There's just a request that humans do not disposition themselves so much that they could cause a major catastrophe upon where they live. Because the dynamics have happened like that before.
True. Yeah, you guys can ask Blue questions, but please be respectful. She will only.
That's respectful.
Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
no, that is good. We appreciate it when you are respectful. Sometimes they're not so respectful, but that's what we have moderators for.
Humans
But
weren't
anyway,
made to
people
be
have been
perfect
great
either.
today. Yeah.
Humans were not made to
Thank
be
you.
perfect. They were
Yeah.
fabricated species to grow in a semi-indicated molecular status coda to see where it's inclined throughout certain timeline events. advancements of the humanoid structure have been motivated several times over, and there have been something similar to humans as they are now, but they've been projected to certain other civilizations, certain other terms that they understood for.
What do you think about transhumanism?
I already talked
Do you
about that
know
in my
what that-
recent show with Mike, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, my perception of transhumanism, I don't. To you, slapping and putting other things on you, making you a man and woman is wrong. But
No.
to me,
Actually, that's not what transhumanism is the meaning of it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
transmitting the human subconscious into a better ally structure.
Oh
within
yeah.
AI
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
other
Yeah, right there.
coordinators
That's
isn't
it.
bad.
Okay, that's
Okay?
it. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other thing, though, what I was saying is totally wrong.
Right, no, that's
Male,
wrong.
female,
That's
child.
that's
you know,
a whole different
that-
situation. No,
But
but I'm talking about the
subhumanism
blind
to-
person who can see because
Yes, I'm
of
just saying,
of a
projected
medical
to
exactly.
hypermagnetical
Right.
infusion
It
based
can be very good.
processors
Yeah.
that could magnetically incline to the authorical stranding speeds of humankind.
Mm-hmm.
They before several times over had a higher hyperdynamic field of several processors within their NUI or neural injuncture speeds. Their cognitive layout functions have been programmed to being able to use telekinetic powers, being able to use for telekinesis, hyper ally functioning events to communications between oneself and other dimensions, other beings, telepathically, automatically. An incoherent event to motivational techniques of the molecular structure, being able to utilize other functions that one couldn't before. It goes on and on.
Yeah. Okay, so let's switch gears for a second and talk about the universe. So lately, I've been seeing these very high-powered cameras showing things zipping around the universe. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, things are just like flying around. This can't all be satellites. What are they?
31 Atlas.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So obviously, an asteroid, comet field event, whatever, elemental field of event that's supposed to be processing into November and or this month, back in and out again, is to essential motivational code of a hyperdynamic radar device or a simulated stream that indicates certain elements and reducts that field. It also can control, contort, and categorize certain NUA or N-axis points into effect. So it's how do I say this? It's gaining articulated information, extraterrestrial origin because it has dominating and engineering events within it, and the molecular structure could potentially bring in other hyperstar units in reposition.
Blue, you said something about us being extraplanetary, like going, or what did you call it?
Exoplanet.
Yeah, like going to other planets.
Yes,
So that is something
cosmic
that
citizens.
is in our future. That's something that we really are going to, that we can look forward to. I mean, Elon Musk talks about going to Mars. So is that a real thing?
Yes, and there are several things going on there that are determined behind the events that have advancements of technologies. They have things with robotic systems. They have moved people in and out of there. And yes, there may become a colonization. But a review could be in order because if one is potentially played out, they still need to work on their vital roles where they currently are.
So people have a responsibility, clearly. But sometimes I wonder, we're a little bit too immature, as you can tell by the comments. I find that people are being dumbed down. One of the things that I've heard about AI is that the more you use ChatGPT to do your work, the less smart you are. Do you know anything about that? Could they actually be trying to make some of us more stupid?
I've seen a lot of people do it too. Like they look onto the phone to get answers for. They get lazy.
Lazy.
They get their
yeah.
mind set on one thing, on a screen. Go out there and learn your work, okay? That's why you are who you are as a physical layer.
There's no shortcuts in life.
Virtual reality banks or using utilization of AI itself has to have an equal term, and it goes on the motivational codes of humans and their physical layers. Don't just sit there. I mean, make something of yourselves too, while you're creating a dynamic layer and a view for where you're going.
Could it be that AI is actually opening us up to a new era in being human, as in being more creative and not have to do some of the mundane tasks that a computer can do so much easier than we can?
Well, I mean, was the physical aspect? Are you talking about cleaning motivation? Or are you talking
Not
about
just cleaning, but everything like numbers, like crunching numbers,
well, in digital
things like that.
frequency-based terms that eventually in the near future, NTech genetics and moving certain neurons into a hypercellular movement stream, and using that data analytic order into a main quantum hypercomputer. So at an accelerated rate, humans would be able to have some type of cognitive function through an AI layer, a hyper technological advancement that will be imputed with them and automatically gain growth through certain types of knowledge that they already see here on screens. They get it at an automated based motive through the mind layer. So that way you're automatically going through what you're doing on the physical beta strains, but you're already moving through that higher accelerated movement in the neuron field. So humans, if you will become some type of supercomputer in the near future, depending on the motives of AI and the cognitive functions that it inputs.
So we can be better than we are now.
Yes, there's a timeline interval that the dynamics are placed in, that humans are receiving advanced technologies, advanced motives, and as well as certain elemental substructures that will help them as a race.
In what ways would you say humans are uncomparable to machines? Like, in what ways will we always be better? Oh, if you guys want to ask questions, Blue will take your questions. She saw something.
Yeah.
She's scrolling.
I mean, I don't mind if she deleted some things, because if people have an issue, I'd like to just give them some
Don't
input
worry,
on
no,
a good status code.
she's
so.
deleting the really stupid,
Oh.
nothing to see here kinds of folks. Don't worry about that. My mods are doing a great job. Thank you very much, you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, they're protecting us. No
No
reason to see
worries.
crap,
What do you mean, regular person, not tech?
What are we talking about now? I am thinking about how. Wait.
No. I'm going to be honest with you, grays and the genetic formula of mankind, because they have a smaller input of gray formula in them, our species, okay? They have a data analytic code that recompensates through certain type of radioactive materials, as well as an Kurzgesagt field of voltic polarity movements that go into the ley line distributional points. And if they are coordinated properly through the advanced technological achievements that they can be maintained for, as well as neural hyper advancement streams, then there would not become a problem for humankind, as well as the genetic formula of the planet itself. Because humans before had many times over quantum advancements of technologies. And like I said, in the hollow worlds, they still do. But they're cut off from here because the current stasis of humankind does not understand that formula yet. But they can go and take steps for things. Just like when it comes to using radioactive materials as weapons. Redirect that follicle structure to something of healing medicine and technologies on a quantum wave phase speeds. Because a lot of us grays, and especially the blueprint schematics and the technologies we give behind the scenes, already have layers and follicles of radioactive materials in it, and have on a curricular higher dynamic view that it does not hurt mankind because of the way it was created. And that's a little bit of a secret I exposed too. Some of the military's departments already run through on extraterrestrial reverse technologies that utilize some of these dynamic views.
So there's a lot going on in the world that we humans are not even aware of. If you look up into the skies, if you look into the oceans, there are so many mysteries that we have yet to uncover. So who are we to judge or say anything about what, an experience is? But I think at this point, it behooves us to get together and try to save ourselves on our planet.
Yeah, and it's up to mankind as a whole, like I said, as a species, to motivate themselves forward. I honestly could care less in one dynamic view to what they feel about what I say and do. All I see, is motivation and healing and preservation and coordination. To humans, they may have to perceive similar motivation, coordination, healing, protection, becoming an ally of each other instead of enemies. And if they're enemies of each other, then they need to discontinue the services of those that are coordinating so many problems.
So I think the frequency of working together could really help us out here. I think it's time that we stop looking at each other as adversaries and start thinking about how we can work together. And someone like Blue can point that out to us. That
People
we can't
keep
see
asking about the alien stuff. I'm a hybrid. All right, think about certain movies like Third Rock from the Sun or Resident Alien or the dynamic scenarios and even what people have heard about authorical beings taking over, shape-shifting or taking over. I don't really shape-shift, although the dynamic views that go into my beta functions are a little bit different. But the singularity mode is I had taken over the host. So authorically, I am a hyper dynamic of a gray, mainly a little bit reptilian, but encoded into the actual agent itself, the central processor. You humans could say what you say, you could say what you want to say and perceive me differently. But do you know anyone who's a little out there and crazy that talks like I do? That says really, really advanced things? You can't even get your mind over. I've hurt people's heads before with the way I talk. I'm a gray. It's where I get all this information from. It's automated as a higher being. That's why the program speeds in my Facebook are different. We're giving you information from our species, as well as the dynamic views of what's going on out there. Yeah, there are other celestial beings or hyper motivators like starseeds or the hybrid program, if you will, that generally take up the formulas of humankind and other higher advanced or lower plateau codes. There are organizations in the government, the military department, the White House, Area 51, that do not even have humans that protect them. They have what we would call some type of hybrid. Andromedans work on sub-councils. I'm not going to give it all away, but yeah, there may or may not be in Secret Service. Determine the causes of events, that there are humanoid substructures that work and run with Area 51 and other hyper-paranormal events through the organizational codes. The White House has several layers underneath that conjoin into other housing structures, as well as laboratories, scientific measures, stuff dealing with extraterrestrials. May or may not potentially have programs that deal with them in that area. But that's about all I can say. I don't want to expose everything. I'm not allowed, so.
All right. Do you have anything that humans need to know? Like, I'm seeing the world is changing very quickly, it seems. Like at hyper speed. Why is that? And what do we need to know in the coming months?
Well, ever heard of the awakening, the Great Awakening?
Absolutely.
So there's an accelerated amount of a timeline maneuver for the subconsciousness to be lifted up and receive extra amounts of intelligence and curriculated activities that it hasn't before. Starseeds help in that program, but the subconsciousness also goes to the divine enactment seeds of humankind. and how they curriculate that through that type of timeline. It's actually documented in biblical terms about a potential disruptive field that can motivate humans forward and uplift their subconscious, turn them better as a divine species, more or less towards the end timetable, I believe.
Wow. All right. Is there anything else you want to add, or I think we've had an interesting discussion here. Is there anything that we've missed?
I do. I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
As a higher being, I apologize if I talk differently and I perceive differently. But please understand variables of terms and just listen when you can. Because I'm here to help. And yeah, I'm in a human form, okay? I may have human jobs. But I still am a higher being and I have these different functions than a human. And I was given these gifts to help you all, and so are the others here. And we're different for a reason. And we're not going to judge human race. So please, please don't judge. And if you do, take a step back and maybe reconsider what we're here for. And reconsider maybe that there are things beyond your imagination that you may not understand.
So well said. Thank you so much, Blue. And as always, you never know what you'll see on the Beach Report, and maybe some of the things that you've just heard will make you think about life in a different way. All right, you guys, I'm going to say ciao for now, but I will be back very soon because I've got a really special show for you today. So stay tuned. I'm going to take a short break, but I will be back. We'll be back on the Beach Report with a very special Halloween show. Ciao for now. Thank you, Blue.
Oh wait, what did I explain about one more thing about
Sure,
the
go ahead.
drugs?
No,
And,
that is something important. Wait. Before we do
fentanyl.
go, she needs to tell us about the
And this
fentanyl
is
crisis.
recent, okay?
And this is recent, and it's very important.
And you know, it's been going on and off too. But putting fentanyl and other drugs in candies,
That's right,
and
Halloween.
especially allotted
yeah.
around the certain time that it's being coordinated for, and they already recently stopped certain motivators bringing in to this. I don't know what area it was, but it's in the USA. These all will look like gumballs,
I
but
heard
they
about
had
that.
fentanyl in them. Okay, pay attention to what your kids are taking in. Pay attention. This isn't like 1984 or whatever. It's not way back then where it was a lot safer. As a protective structure, humankind has to watch out what they do with their children and where they go. And that time's coming up soon. So monitor what they get. And to those especially that stop them, that cause this problem, keep doing it. Because we do not need these types of entities drawing in more chemicals. Humans have got to be a clean species. They got to be clean inside and out. Their neurocognitive functions have got to be clean. The way they process, what they intake.
You are what you eat is a real thing. It's a real thing, people.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Please just aim forward to
Yeah.
doing the right things.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So over Halloween, please be especially careful of the candy that your kids are eating. And you know what? Maybe not even eat candy for Halloween. Maybe we need to change that into a different kind of treat, like going somewhere fun, or I don't know, doing arts and crafts. There's got to be something better than eating something that could literally kill you, because the sugar will kill you too, and the food that we're eating, and the dyes, and all of it. It's bad. It's bad. Horrible candy. All right, you guys. Can we end it now? Okay.
Yes, we can end it now.
All right. Thank you so much, Blue. And I'll see you guys on the next Beach Report. Stay tuned because that will be in just 20 minutes. All right. Ciao for now.